Hey there friends, and thanks for joining me for another Quick Tip Tuesday. And today I want to make with you some vanilla. Vanilla is actually really fun and easy to make. It's cheaper, as you'll see in a few minutes, way cheaper than buying it, from the store. It tastes a lot better. It has this more rusticy, full flavor than the stuff that you get at the store. When you make it yourself, there's a lot more flexibility to it. You can add like different alcohols and things, to make it differently than you could ever buy it. And then, of course, it would also make a really good gift because everybody uses vanilla, and very practical too. And, like I said, it's also really fun to make. And also there's another alcohol-free version. So for those people who have like children or, medical reasons or religious reasons, would prefer not to use the alcohol version, one of the only ways that you can get a real vanilla extract that's alcohol-free would be to make it yourself. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to need, just for the regular version, is going to be a bottle of alcohol. Vodka is probably what's best, and that's what's typically normally used. So I went with this one, the Svedka. If you do choose an alcohol, make sure it's like at least a semi-decent one, not a big plastic bottle of, off-brand. Something that's maybe in a glass bottle or something like that, because a nicer quality vodka is going to make a better tasting final product. So, just don't go too expensive with it, but just something that's not, the cheapest. Whatever it is you choose, you're going to want to make sure it's at least 35% alcohol or a 70 proof. But you can also choose other types of alcohol. If you don't want to choose the traditional, vodka, you can also use like bourbon or brandy or even rum for some different flavors, but those will extract differently, so it will make your vanilla taste a little different, so just be aware of that, but that can be a good or bad thing depending on how, it works out. And then the next thing you're going to need to do is, for every cup of alcohol that you're using, you're going to want to use 5 vanilla beans. So for a typical bottle like this, which is a 750 ml, that's about 3 cups. So for this bottle, it's going to be about 15 vanilla beans. So you take your beans and you chop them up. You don't have to do the thing where, you see on a lot of cooking shows where they split them open. That could be kind of dangerous, and you could end up with, an injury by doing it that way. So just chop them up. It'll still work out the same way. The little seeds and stuff will still go into the liquid and everything like that. So just chop them up a little bit so that they can give more of their flavor off. And then you throw them in the bottle. It's really that easy. Once you've done that, all you have to do is shake it up, maybe once a day, a couple times a week, however often you want to. And then after about 2 to 6 months, your vanilla extract is finished. You just strain off the beans and voila, it's done. See how easy that is? So let's compare prices and see how worth it really is. So a bottle of McCormick vanilla at my Walmart right now, a 2-ounce bottle, is selling for $4.48. This 750 ml bottle makes about 26 ounces of vanilla. So for the same amount of vanilla we made today, we would have to buy 13 bottles of McCormick vanilla, and so that would end up being $58.24, so let's round it with tax and everything, about $60 worth of vanilla that I made right here. How much did it cost me to make? Well, this bottle of vodka cost about $14, and vanilla beans, depending on where you purchase them from, if it's on Amazon or at a local health food store or whatever, they can typically cost about 50 cents each. Again, it depends on the quantity you buy them in and whatnot, whether or not they're extract grade or, a higher grade, which you don't need anything higher than an extract grade anyway, so get the cheaper ones. And so, the $14 vodka plus the $7.50 for the vanilla beans for the 15 of them, my price was about $21.50. So round that to $22. So $60 to buy this much, or $22 to make it yourself. And again, I know this looks like a lot of vanilla, but what a great homemade gift. Everybody uses vanilla, so, with the timing I'm putting out this video, you might even be able to get started on it and have it ready by the time the holiday season rolls around even. So, yeah, again, it's really, really easy to do. You can pour it once it's strained off and everything into like pretty little bottles and make it special that way too. So, yeah, really fun and easy to do. So let's go ahead and learn the grain alcohol-free method. Before we get started though, I would like to point out that this, what we're going to be using as a solvent in this version, instead of the vodka or whatever, the other types of alcohol, is going to be vegetable glycerin, which is still technically an alcohol, but it's a sugar alcohol, not a grain alcohol. And so while, you know, you could easily drink a whole bunch of this and get, you know, drunk, if you drank a whole bunch of this or even the whole bottle, there's no way you could ever get drunk off this. You could get a nice sugar buzz, but that's pretty much it. So it doesn't, even though while it's still an alcohol, it's not the same type of alcohol. I don't know. I hope this isn't confusing you. I hope this is adding clarity. But anyway, so it's still technically an alcohol, but it doesn't have the same issues with, you know, being able to be, you know, intoxicated from it, or, you know, the blood thinning and all that stuff. So this would work better for, say, raw recipes. Because when we use regular vanilla in, say, a bread or a cake or a cookie or something, it does bake off. So, you know, again, if people want to use something with alcohol-free for, say, a raw recipe, this would be the way to go. So anyway, what we're going to do is take the vegetable glycerin, and it's made in almost the same exact way. You put it in some sort of a glass jar, because this is plastic, so I wouldn't recommend making it right in this. And then the recipe is a little different in that for every cup of vegetable glycerin you add, you're going to want to add 3 beans instead of 5. And then to kick off the process of the extracting, we want to heat it up a little bit. So what I just did is took a pan of hot water and I set it in the pan of hot water and left it there for like 10 minutes. And then soon after, the liquid started turning brown, and it really did kick it off very well. But then otherwise, it's the same exact process. You wait a while, you shake it every day, after several months, you know, or whenever you want for it to be finished, you know, 2 to 6 months or whatever it is. Strain off the beans and voila, it's finished. So again, just like earlier, the vodka, the rum, the brandy, this and that, when you use different alcohols, it tastes different. The vegetable glycerin is going to produce a product that is going to taste a little bit different than the vodka version. So do be aware of that. It will taste a little different, but who knows, you know, depending on, you know, how much flavor it has and whatnot. You might like it differently or better, or who knows what. So anyway, that's definitely something to consider. This is a way better version than, say, imitation vanilla, because imitation vanilla is full of all sorts of artificial flavors and chemicals and things like that, and so making a nice real vanilla is really a better option. And when you make it yourself, again, it's a lot cheaper, so we can get, you know, those low prices like those imitation vanillas, but without having to sacrifice flavor. So it's really, really good. Okay, and then lastly, what we do with the beans, you know, if you really want to stretch it even further, once you've strained out the beans, you can just set them aside and let them dry for a little while, and then I have 2 suggestions for you. You can either put them in like a little sachet or something like that, throw them in your sock drawer, your underwear drawer, whatever, your car, and make a nice natural air freshener that's going to smell like vanilla, like real vanilla, not like a chemical artificial vanilla. Or you could even throw it, you know, these 15 beans or so, into about 2 cups of sugar in some sort of a Tupperware or a bag or something like that, and then leave it there for several weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and then the sugar will actually absorb what leftover vanilla flavor that there is after the extracting, so you can make a nice vanilla sugar with the leftover vanilla beans, which will really add a nice kick to, you know, your morning coffee, your tea, you know, the sugar you roll your holiday cookies in or something like that. So even after you're done, you can reuse the beans for other purposes too. So anyway, that is my version of how to make vanilla, both the alcohol and the sort of alcohol-free version. And so I hope this video was helpful to you. Thanks for joining me again, and I'm Frugal Gringo. We'll see you next time.